Perhaps you did indeed jinx it. Hit it. I said hit it.
I'm hitting it, Captain.
Abracadabra. I like it. Maybe I can get us out of here with the help of some powerful magic called science.
Maybe. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, The Elysian Kingdom, Season 1, Episode 8 has premiered, has aired, but we're just getting started here tonight on Live Long and Podcast. I'm Dave Mader, coming at you with Star Trek TV and movie reviews. Flying solo for the moment, at least. Seeing if any of our panelists will be coming along. I know that Jody and Kevin had sent their regrets. I just got a message that Adam is coming. So I will not just be talking to myself for this one, which is great. And we'll see if Davan Skelhorn will be along shortly as well. All right. Oh, and coming to us now is Adam Woodward. Hey, Adam, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
Good, good. You got the fishies there, like Picard?
I do.
Yeah, nice. Very good. We're talking the Elysian Kingdom, the 8th episode of the season, an Mbenga-focused episode that was a bit Renaissance fair. It was a bit of one of those episodes where the crew has a mental sort of takeover, a telepathic takeover. We've seen this kind of episode before, but I really thought that this one was really strong and a really emotional one, and a kind of a conclusion of this ongoing storyline with Mbenga and his daughter having the, not leukemia, but whatever the disease that they're using in the show. So, what did you think of tonight's episode, Adam? Adam? Are you there? Hello? Oh, he's frozen there. Okay, we'll just see if Adam's able to come back. We dropped. Oh, Davin's also on his way, so that's good. Well, and we'll jump into this episode in a moment in terms of a discussion. But I gotta say, I thought that this was good. I think that this maybe won't be as well liked as some of the other episodes this season. But Adam, can you hear me now?
I can. Sorry, you're lagging there.
It's okay. You're yes.
Dave.
Is it me or is it you? Hello? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe it's the fish? Not quite sure. We're trying to hit it, guys. We're trying to talk about the episode, The Elysian Kingdom, here on Live Long and Podcast for this Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. Lovely day. And we'll see soon if the rest of our panelists are able to join us. I thought that this episode really worked for me. I think in particular, Anson Mount was great in it. I thought as not as Pike, but as this Sir or this court chancellor character he was playing in this episode. He got to like really ham it up. I thought that he had a lot of fun with it. I thought Ortega's was very good as well in this episode. I was I don't know if I was completely feeling the Uhura character as much. It was fine, but it was just maybe not as strong as the other ones. I think Leon as that princess, I'm not supposed to call it Leon. It's just Leon. It's the Gorn, sir. So you gotta remember, Lon was the wizard in this one. Sir Dav's a lot with us. Hello.
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
That's good. Adam's having some technical difficulties. So you're here. Welcome, Davan. Sir Dav's a lot.
Sir Dav's a lot.
Yes. Talk about the Elysian Kingdom, the 8th episode of season 1 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And I was just kind of talking about the episode in general and just some of these other, like how the characters really played out, the different cast members getting to play these fictional characters from the medieval Renaissance fair type story that Mbenga had been reading to his daughter. What did you think of the episode?
It ended strong for me, I thought. It's reminiscent of like the Three Musketeers Barkley episode, or like one
Mhm.
of those uh one
Even
of
like
those
the Naked
Barkley
Now,
episodes.
or is it the Naked Time?
But
Whichever
they
one.
get to play somebody different, the
Yeah,
main
you get to
cast.
you
Yeah.
get to be completely something. A holodeck episode would kind of give you this, or there's been different versions of this. There was the episode of Voyager. There's been a few episodes of Voyager, to be fair. Whether it be on the holodeck or they just are placed in some kind of different reality. And so the cast, they don't have to, like, Anson Mount didn't have to play Pike very much in this episode. He mostly got to play Sir Amand Routh, who was a quite the character. I thought, like, Lon was playing Princess Talia. We had Uhura as Queen Nev. We had Ortegas as Sir Adia. Hemmer was, well, mostly Hemmer, but also was playing it up some of the wizard things. Spock is the wizard Pollux, and Chapel as the Lady Audrey, like kind of the witchcraft character. So yeah, like I agree that the ending was super strong. I kept thinking, like, I'm not crying, you're crying, through the whole
Yeah.
ending. This was an Mbenga focused episode and kind of an interesting one to do. I thought also, just with the fact of, I thought the storyline with his daughter might go on longer. I was
Me
surprised a little
too.
bit that it concluded this early in the season, but not
I'm kind
complaining
of
about it.
glad it was. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not. I'm kind of glad it was. It did catch me off guard a bit, but
Hmm.
all good. And so we get, to start off this episode, we get Chief Medical Officer's log to start this one off, as we've had a
I
few.
love the
It's not,
rotating logs. I love
yeah,
that.
not always a captain's log on this show. And he's talking about, well, we're studying a nebula and not much for sickbay to do. We're doing a nebula. So it's just kind of routine work. He's doing medical research, and we also see his daughter's hand come in here, and she wants him to read the story to him again, also called the Elysian Kingdom. So they kind of go back through, or the Kingdom of Elysian. That's what it's actually called, not the Elysian Kingdom. By Benny Russell? Is that what it says?
Oh my god.
Benny something like that. It's hard. I have it a bunch bigger here. It's hard for me to read on this screenshot,
Oh
but
my god, it almost looks like Benny Russell.
Benny something well.
Hmm.
And we see all these different characters here that come up, kind of hinting at what's to come. When I first saw, like, the stills of this episode earlier this week, I didn't expect this kind of an episode. I thought they were going to end up on a
No.
planet where it's like medieval times or something, and they have to, like, kind of
They
blend
did that
in
in
with
Lower Decks.
they did that in Lower Decks, and they've done it in tons of Star Trek episodes. But, like, this was a bit of threw me a bit off. I was like, okay, and then we're seeing, like, the hints of the characters to come. He's reading the book. We're seeing them, and his daughter's name is what?
Nakia. No, Rakia.
Rukia. She's saying that she wants a different ending. She like, why can't this character team up with this character? And why can't I don't like when that character does this. And he's like, well, that's the
Like,
story.
why can't the Huntress just come in and, like, save them?
Hey, why can't the Huntress? Well, the Huntress does other things, he says.
Which was played by Una.
Una got to be the Huntress in this one.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, when you grow up, you can write your own stories, and you will. Which I thought, kind of tied really well into the ending of the story. Very, they had done enough setup in this episode, in this series so far, even though it's only the 8th episode in. Like, I know her, I know him, I get their dynamic, and this only kind of really extended upon that further. Yeah, very, very, very charming between the two. They had great chemistry in all their scenes, and you believe it.
Their whole storyline together, though, was, like, breaking my heart every time. So I'm sort of glad it's over. It's just like,
yeah, well, it's like a kid with basically
time.
Terminal illness. It's not the cheeriest subject. It's kind of like the sick kids hospital goes into the transporter buffer. But you're just he kind of talks about it in his log. He's like, I thought we would have found the cure by now, and we haven't. So it's, I don't know what to do. And she's, even though I'm buying time by storing her in the transporter buffer as much as possible, the clock's going to run out eventually because she's got to come out every often. I assume she has to eat every so often that she comes out as well, and sleep for that matter. But he puts her back into the transporter buffer here. And then he goes into his research. He's working on the medicine, Davan. He's doing his chemist stuff. He's also a pharmacist. He's putting his pestle and mortar together. He's got beakers and test tubes. Yeah,
it looks old school. I like it.
Old school
something
medicine.
You probably would have saw Bones do in like TOS or something.
Right. Yeah, he's putting it together. He's
if
making
Bones ever did science.
Yeah, well, sometimes usually Spock, and then they would collaborate at times. But yeah, this one blows up in his face, literally. He's coughing it up. It doesn't quite work. And this is when I can't remember what this energy field was. Was it this to contain the smoke? I think.
No, that was just a. No, I thought that energy field was the
medicine.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, I thought that was the reaction, like the malfunction.
Maybe no, I think
he was just
I think it was a containment
field.
I think it's a yeah, it's a yeah. And then he's kind of down on his outs here. He doesn't know what to do. Enter Una, the first officer, number 1. And she's kind of saying, "Hey, what's up? You need to clear the shuttle team." Oh, there's Adam. Adam, how you doing?
Good. I'm on my mobile. Something's wrong with my laptops. Pardon me.
No, welcome. How's it going tonight? And can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. Hi, Davan.
How's it going?
Not too bad.
You look fine in phone definition.
Ah, good.
Adam, we're just getting to this part of the episode where the first officer Una is having the conversation with Mbenga about take as much time as you need, but we need you to be the chief medical officer first, or to do your job here, not just worry about your terminally ill kid.
Yep. Definitely to the point. Notice she didn't have the long tunic on tonight.
Oh, she was wearing the pants tonight?
Pants and yeah.
Yeah, so she kind of goes back and forth, which is cool. Depending on her mood that day. And yeah, like I took a lot of stuff in there. And then we go up to the bridge where Pike's, sometimes it's nice not getting shot at by Gorns and Klingons and whatever. I can just do the science work, I can just
Meaning watch everybody else do the science work.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at these scientists.
Yeah, did Pike say he was in security initially when he first entered Starfleet before he became a captain?
He said he did he was talking about that time in security. They don't spend too much time. I think it's like when Uhura was in the engineering for a week or whatever.
Okay, so I'm always curious to what like captains did before they became captains, because initially they were just one of the crew, right? But like Picard, we know he was a helmsman, and I think we can kind of infer most of them were helmsmen. But like Sisko, for instance, was a chief engineer. Janeway was a science officer. Archer's the first captain, doesn't really count. And Pike, I would imagine, kind of did a bunch of things. Not a scientist, though, per se.
Anyway, I think Pike, Archer was more of an engineer. It felt like.
Yeah, yeah, because they were all kind of engineers. Yeah, in a sense. Yeah, his dad was obviously the creator of the Warp 5 engine, so he had that background as well. So yeah, that's fair. But wasn't a chief engineer on a ship because there were no real ships yet.
Yeah.
Right. So you're talking about how Spock says you might jinx it, or he talks about human superstitions around, when things are too good to be true, they usually are. I like that, he's like, let's get out of here. And she's like, are you going to say the thing? Are you going to say the thing? He's like, oh, I will. Here it is.
Hit it.
She does it. And nothing happens.
I said hit it.
Hit it.
Hit it.
I'm hitting it, Captain.
She was hitting it. No movement, though. They're trying to figure out what's going on with the ship. They talk to Hemmer down in engineering. He's like, well, our work core seems to be working fine. So they come to consensus that they should just kind of get a little bit further away from the nebula, and then they should be okay. They outflow an impulse, and then their warp field can be reestablished. So that's what they kind of do. But in that process, the ship shakes, and Ortegas goes down here, gets a gash on the head. And so Pike calls for Mbenga to come as an emergency medical to the bridge. This is right after he was kind of, as we established, he was kind of burned out. He was kind of working late on that medicine and whatever. So he was not necessarily fresh-eyed, I would say, for this house call up to the bridge. But he heads up, and as he gets there, it's like his clothes have changed, the bridge has changed, but not everything. It's not the.
I love this set. This set is awesome.
Yeah, Adam, we never really you kept cutting it out early. Did you like this episode?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know if you saw my comment last night. If we could rate something 11, but because I watched last week's last night, that was awesome. That was one of the best Star Treks I've ever seen in my life.
That was my least favorite of the series so far.
Really, because this one, I didn't love it.
The Serene Squall you liked better. Okay. Well, we'll get when we get to the ratings, we can maybe talk about. We've missed you for at least
2 episodes.
2 episodes. We never got your lift us where suffering cannot reach rating.
Yeah.
Either. But I don't know. I found this fun just because I really like this cast. I think is why I liked it. And I think I just had fun. I had fun that they were having fun. I saw here Anson Mount as this Sir, what's his name? What was he called? Sir Routh or Sir Routh. Yeah. He was just like the scummiest guy ever. Like like just like
smarmy.
Jerk. Smarmy. And he's just like, "What's welcome to the court." Here, let's get the. I like
get the jester. One. Cancel the jester.
Oh, I got that one.
Summon the court jester. Hold the jester.
Hold the jester.
Yes, sir. I wanted to see who the jester was going to be, but I don't know.
Not me. And that was that's the opening
Kyle.
Sequence. Like
it would have been Kyle.
That's the cold open that they're kind of in like the ship's been changed. What was that episode? Masks, the one where Data, becomes the multiple personalities.
Episode, yeah, but that was a very good episode. I love that episode.
No, Masks is terrible.
I like Masks a lot. I keep threatening we're going to do a radio theater of it.
Oh my god!
And like that with Matt, this kind of reminds me of Masks a bit. It's kind of in the same thing.
Dave. Here's what I feel is that we're just getting to know the crew. What is this? December 7th or 8th now?
8th episode. 8. Yep.
Yeah, and they departed from their normal roles completely tonight, and I missed it too soon.
Too soon. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, I don't mind this kind of episode. Honestly, you did a lot, and with the holodeck. What is the holodeck except for this? But no, not yet.
Okay, well, maybe that's a fair critique. I think. Written by Kayla Cooper and Onitra Johnson, directed by Amanda Rowe. And then we come back in here for. As Mbenga has to kind of put this together because we literally learned that Hemmer is the only other one not affected because of his telepathic abilities, or where Spock's, I guess, we're not quite up to the par here. But yeah, there's kind of some things we meet. This is Sir Adia, who is Ortegas. I guess, and that gash on the head got kind of erased, right? Like the injury that Mbenga was called up here to treat in the first place is not there. We saw that this nebula could cure leukemia basically as well. So quite some cytokemia. It's even more serious. And I think I just was all throughout. I was just enjoying them bickering with each other. Them as these characters. Some of them worked more for me than others. I think that. Anson Mount was great. I think that
Ortega was great.
Ortega's Melissa Navia was great here.
I have armed myself.
Yes, he keeps trying to talk to the computer. They're like, "Does he mean the Oracle?" You know, it's just like,
Yeah, I don't know her name, but Nurse Chapel was good too. I mean, listen, as we're talking about it, I'm starting to like it. I'm liking it more. This is why I like
It's a
talking to you
good
guys.
episode.
it was fun. You know, he does the
It
system
started off
analysis.
me. I was like, oh no, not one of these episodes like you were saying, Adam. It was like for the first 5 minutes of it, I was like, and then it was just
Yeah,
no, this is good, and it ended very strong.
According to the computer, all systems were normal. So Mega's even more confused. He doesn't have much help here. He has to kind of, at least these people are not trying to kill him or anything. So he's like, come along. We have to kind of figure it out. And it helps that he knows the story and he's able
Here's
to
the thing, though. The entity fixed a gash on her head.
Yes, that's what I was
So,
mentioning. Yeah.
Couldn't it have just cured his daughter?
Well, I didn't understand. Yeah, I thought that's what was going to happen here. Is that that she was cured, but then she couldn't leave the nebula. That would have been too easy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it would have probably all felt too easy. You have to have sacrifice.
Adam, there are two of you now.
It's a sad one though, man. It was a gut wrencher. Ugh.
Do you want me to add the second version of you?
Yes.
Okay, remove the other one.
Oh my God, it's double Adam. Oh, now we get a fish tank. I like this view better.
Okay, we're good. Sorry, guys. I had, like I said, laptop issues. I think everything seems to be working now.
Well, your internet's a bit
more or less.
laggy. More or less. Yeah.
It was better than the phone because the phone was making all kinds of weird sounds.
Or
we're getting a bit of an echo effect on the phone. There's oh, he's freezing again. Now wait. Is he frozen? Or is he just good at keeping it still? Okay, let's bring back the other Adam.
Adam 1's back.
Adam 2?
Adam 1, Adam 2. Adam 1, Adam 2. Adam 1, Adam 2.
Let's keep moving here. Well,
let's keep moving along.
Oh, he's back.
Both Adams are back.
Both Adams. We got so many Adams. Okay.
I don't even know how that's possible because the other one's not even working.
Well, the other ones, I still showed the other one, but I'm going to kick it out here.
I'm not going to go back on that one. I'm pardoning it.
Yeah, something with the internet connection is not strong there, unfortunately.
Well, can you just go sit in front of the fish tank?
I'll take you over there.
Okay.
Yeah, Davin's all about the fish tank. He's like a Picard.
I like fish.
Yeah. I really like. He's like, we got to get down to sick bay, and he's like, and Pike's character's like, we have to get to the bay of the sick. But that turns out to be Chapel's like little. She's kind of like the witch, I guess, or something.
Like, must I commandeer a vessel?
Must I commandeer a vessel from the bay? I'm sick. You know, Chapel's not in this a lot, but I just her couple scenes in this as this whatever character she was playing, but as Lady Audrey, she was quite funny. I thought.
She always stands out. I find.
Yeah, she's one of the better. That's not characters, but just the way she performs on the show is great. She does the same things. He scans her, talks about her dopamine levels being much higher. They come along with here's Sir Adia. And then Lon shows up as this princess.
But wait, before you move on there, I did like that scene too, because he scans himself and he says, I'm perfectly healthy. And then she does the hand and feels his whatever, his power, his whatever you call it, and finds him very sad. And
his paw, as the Bajorans would say.
Yeah, that was good.
It disgusts me. That's what you should have said to him.
Yes.
But very, very good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, everything was fun. I love what they did with the set. I like they must have had a lot of fun taking the ship and making it this kind of different world, but it's still recognizable. Lon's version was very, she's the princess, very much cast against type here, I suppose.
But looks the part. I was surprised.
Looks the part. Has this little dog with her, who I believe we find out is the name of the dog is Rhonda.
I mean, I scarcely escaped with my life, not to mention my poor little Rhonda. Isn't a
poor little Rhonda?
Does she get to show a different character in this episode? Eh?
Oh, does she ever?
Mhm.
Yeah, like that she can be completely different than that sort of angsty one that Jodie has issue with a lot.
The one who was the most the type is Ortega. She was sort of just playing herself a little hyped up.
A little bit more of a
Yeah.
security guard version,
Yeah.
but yeah, than a pilot. But yeah, kind of a not that different than their
A
main
swashbuckler.
character. A swashbuckler, a battler. So got to have some fun with that. There's different information exchange here, but it's mostly just about the costumes and things. And he tries to figure this out. The facial
How do you rate the
expressions.
costumes, Dave?
Costumes are great. I love the costumes. I thought it was excellent.
Good, very good.
Full marks here. Yeah, just good
Right amount
stuff.
of pips.
There were no pips, so it made
No
it
pips.
easier. I deducted a point from Deep Space Nine at 9 last night
I
because they
saw
called
that.
him a rear. They called him a rear admiral, and he was clearly wearing 4 pips.
You were
He was a-
correct. You were correct. I was on your
He was a-
side for sure.
He was a full admiral.
Sorry for missing that, but you guys did a fun review. I enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. No, we missed you for it, but we know you were tired last night. That's why we have so many of us here on Live Log and Podcast, so we can all kind of rotate in. I thought I was going to be by myself for a moment tonight. Well, we see here, Hemmer is getting dragged off by the Crimson Guard, who is like the soldiers of Uhura's character. They're dragging him off. We can kind of figure out in just the first few minutes of dialogue here that Hemmer is not affected by
Yeah.
this whatever everyone else has been. Is that scar always over her eye? Is that just you gotta look back at that. No, that was added. Anyway, the king shows up and they're kind of, he kind of figures out who Hemmer is. He goes, "Oh, Hemmer is this wizard from the story. I need that wizard to help me find the Mercury Stone," which we later learn is his daughter. But first, we need to have this one, the Crimson Guard one. She needs to challenge for it, but he knows from the book. He's like, I have the right of something or other. So he uses his knowledge of the story to sort of circumvent this and kind of avoid a conflict directly. But they still get away with Hemmer here.
The right of ascension.
Exactly. He's like, we need to get Hemmer. And they're like, well, all right, or whatever his character's name is. We go over to the room here, and I like how like the Kingdom of Elysian looks like it's this island, but it's actually just the silhouette of the Enterprise, right?
Oh yeah, very slick.
Right. I guess the
Didn't
red and
notice
the
that.
blue, the red and the blue territories represent like I guess the two different sides in this conflict. So there's still like, obviously it's still a Starfleet graphic on the screen, but there's candles everywhere. The discussion here about what to do. This goes on for a while, but they're just having fun with this stuff. Oh, she starts singing at one point.
Yeah. That's great.
I didn't pull any of that, but it was
Want me
just
to do
like,
it?
yeah, you can do it. Do your impression.
No, I can't hit that high note she does at the end. Oh.
Mike O'Connor saying this episode was doomed for me, and they pulled it off better and better as it went along, and the veil lifted. Thanks, Mike.
Agreed.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with Mike.
Exactly.
That's a great description. That's the way I felt too. I mean, maybe I was a little hard at the beginning again, but that's the way I felt. I saw this happening. I go, oh god, and
Right.
but as it started going along, it was pretty good.
I think it kind of just seemed like it was gonna be a goofy episode for the most part, and then it finishes off with this real emotional beat, which we're trying to get to, but yeah, just like. Look at this pose here with Anson out with the thumbs up. He's like, yeah. So great stuff. They run into to Spock after this, and he's like another wizard. Spock is the wizard Pollux in this story. He got to be a little bit more relaxed, Ethan Peck, in this episode.
So at this point, I was remembering my classics. Because they were talking about Castor and then Pollux, right?
Yep.
And I had to look it up because it's been a long time. But they were the sons of Queen Leda of Sparta. They had twin sisters, Helen and Troy, and
Right.
Clemistera. Okay, Castor and Pollux were changed into the constellation called Gemini. Tyndareus, the king of Sparta, was the father of Castor, which made Castor mortal, while Zeus was the father of Pollux, which made him a demigod. And it goes on from there. But I was trying to remember the link, and then I had to check it out.
Well, in Castor Troy, in the movie Face Off, has a brother named Pollux Troy.
Yep.
Castor Troy, played by Nicolas Cage. So I guess his parents were into the classics.
Speaking
Anyway,
of
so-
classics, can we appreciate my new fake name for a second?
Oh, sure.
What's your name?
The Skelhorn King. The
Elysian King.
The Skelhorn King. I like it.
Yeah. It was Sir Dad.
It was Sir Dav's Lot. Here, I can leave it up for a minute. To picture everything. But the wizard Pollux, as played by Spock, is going to lead them to this thing, and it's just a Jeffries tube. He's like, look, we'll go up the Jeffries, the secret path here. So they climb the ladder, and he leads them basically right into a trap where we meet the Uhura character, the Queen Nev, I believe was the name. You can tell that that again, Celia Rose Gooding having a ton of fun with this particular version that she got to play. Instead of being the cadet, she's the queen and she's the boss, and got to kind of really play that out. And kind of the villain, really, of this story, I suppose. There's different, this is down in engineering, by the way, I think. And basically, I can't remember everything that happens here. Guys, help me remember what happens with this whole scene.
Well, first of all, I was a little surprised. I mean, I was checking off who they were, casting. But where is Una?
Well, she shows up later as the archer.
Huntress.
She's the huntress.
Oh, right. Because I wanted
her
her to have this role.
Yeah, like you would have thought, but instead they gave it to Uhura. And I guess they could have mixed and matched any of these roles around. But this is what they kind of
Uhura looked the most like the character in the book.
Right, but they could have. Is the book real? The book's not a real book, right? Like they could have illustrated them to be whatever.
No, I just think they did. Yeah, I think they did that all on purpose. So.
Yeah, and then they get locked up here. I love Ensign Mount. He's just like, "Get me out of here!" He's slapping the bars, crying out. He's just so cowardly compared to his normal, like, brave, dashing kind of character he plays. So it was just a lot of fun for me to see him in this against type here. They're locked up with Hemmer. And Hemmer, kind of explains how he was able to block the telepathic attack because of his training, because he's an Anar, which is different than typical Andorians. They have more they're all born blind, but they have like more precognitive abilities and telepathic abilities. And so they kind of
they're a myth.
No, they're well established by the 23rd century. Which is
like his crown.
Yeah, it's his crown. They're just like in a transporter room here. That's the cell. So it's interesting to see how the ship's been played out, and all this happens over. Everything's only 5 hours. This entire episode just spans about 5 hours because they tell us at the end that none of them remember any of this, which I think it would have been more fun
like
if they
50
did.
minutes to me. Weird how time works.
Yeah, well, there was some time jumping things. But they're like, here, you need to use your magic. And Hemmer says,
Maybe I can get us out of here with the help of some powerful magic called science.
Science.
What does a wizard say? Abracadabra, he tells him.
Abracadabra. I like it.
I like it.
Yeah. He says, you got to turn away or you'd be blinded. He's like, what about you? I'm a wizard, he says. So,
I will blind you all with science.
Yeah, opens up the door here. It goes. And then Sir Aria's like, I like this science. This is good stuff.
Science did that.
Yeah, blows it off. Good stuff. It was all fun. I think this is a real I like this episode just to give me more acquainted with these actors and what their ranges are and sort of even though I agree that you would think that something like this would maybe come later in a series after you kind of know them better. On the other hand, we kind of know Pike. We know some of these characters better than others, whether before or after this.
And I think it kind of fall into this cast quicker than the cast of any of the other shows.
Right.
I don't know if it was just the quality of the first episodes compared to first episodes of some other Trek series, but 8 episodes in, and you feel like you know everybody for sure.
For sure. It helps that we obviously know Uhura from the original series and the movies, so it's not that, and same with Chapel and Spock, of course. And with Pike and Una, we kind of saw them a bit in Discovery. Plus, of course, they got the what we saw in the original pilot way back when, I guess, if you want to infer from that. And but characters like Hemmer and Lon and Ortegas, they're not really established, so they're kind of new here. Yeah, she's kind of threatening her minion here. She threatens the wizard Pollux, is played by Spock here. You'll be taking their place if you can, because they find out that they escaped, and Benga and those guys have escaped. They go after it here. We find out that Spock's character and Hemmer's character are supposed to be brothers, right?
Yeah,
both.
Castor and Pollux.
But was his name Pollux? Was that the name of Hemmer's?
That was the name. That was the name of Spock's character.
Pollux, yeah, Spock was Pollux, but was Hemmer? I can't remember what
Hemmer was Castor.
He was Castor. Okay, so yeah, all right, gotcha. Castor Troy. Anyway, there's a big sword fight here. This goes on for quite a while, and then Pike's character just runs away. There, just I can't. Every time he was just being Mr. Cowardly. I found it funny. I was surprised, that with all the sword fights and everything, someone could have been hurt. Someone there could have, if there had been a fatality in these 5 hours, that would have even confused matters more so. But I got the impression that the Nebula entity wasn't maybe going to let anybody get injured.
Well, that was the interesting part when Mbenga at the end there was saying, my crew needs to get out of this. They're in danger. No, they weren't.
Yeah, were they? Were they not? They're fighting with swords, though.
Yeah.
Maybe
back to the classics for a minute, because it's called the Elysian Kingdom. In classical mythology, Elysium, or the Elysian Fields, was the home of the blessed after death. So very,
it's like heaven.
Yeah, but very apropos to what happens to the daughter.
True.
And then the final resting place of the souls that are heroic and pure.
During the whole sword fight here, the Huntress shows up, as played by Una. We see her character here from the book displayed. And they go, and they all run away. And we see that the Arya character, I don't know what the full intent between this Arya and Huntress be, because that was what the daughter wanted, right? She wanted them to team up, and they get more than a team up here
and save the day. So she does.
They were like a thing, these two, in this episode. Right? They're we know each other very well. She says you could call more, or you could write more, you could send more scrolls, more ravens, whatever. It's like in medieval terms, you could you could text more often, let me know what's going on with you.
Homing pigeon, anything.
Homing pigeon, what's going on? Down in engineering, Hemmer's trying to figure things out, saying that it seems like the nebula is sending some kind of energy towards us, the Genesian Nebula, and he talks about this whole theory about help me out with the science, guys. It was something basically that this theory of a super intelligence that spontaneously comes to being all of a sudden, right? That the nebula was just a nebula, and then all of a sudden one day it was like an intelligent life form for no particular reason. It just is
consciousness with no body. He says.
Consciousness, yeah, like a consciousness manifests itself. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was kind of like a neat thing. I always like when they bring kind of science fictions or even scientific theories into Star Trek, and then they play it out around the story and makes a story around it.
Well, there are other things we've seen in Star Trek that could be that as well. Like, what is like Nagilum? Maybe that was just a consciousness that.
Right. What about that telepathic pitcher plant that tried to eat Voyager?
That one too.
Yeah, there's been a few big, huge clouds in the sky with consciousness.
You remember the hands that held the Enterprise?
Well, that was
No.
Apollo.
No.
I know it was Apollo, but I always like that image.
Yeah, who mourns for Adonais? Which my dad always thinks it's Adonis. Anyway, just some things here. Like in terms of like the story and the dialogue, there's not a lot to say because most of it's just them being like Renaissance fair and LARPing. But it moves along and they kind of come up to, they kind of figure it out. Like Mbenga kind of pieces it together with Hemmer, and they kind of go, well, it's coming from my daughter. They kind of figure this out from sickbay. They go to transporter. She's not in the transporter room. Where would she go? And he kind of realizes from the earlier conversation that, you know, she always wanted to see my quarters on the ship, and that's kind of where she would go. And that's kind of where they come down to the conclusion. Although, however, it's overheard by this devious Pollux, who says she's like, Mercury Stone is a child. He's like, yes. So their evil plan doesn't come fully to fruition, but they bring up Pike here, who they've captured, and he's like, "What do I have to do?" And she's like, "Just, work for me now." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I can do that." We're working up a witch's brew here. He grabs this communicator, which comes into play later. Trying to figure this out. Man, I took so many screenshots. I take less.
A lot happening.
I like how he turns on him. How Pike will, like, his character turns on him. He's like, "Sorry, sir. They offered me your kingdom, and how could I resist?" But he's like, "We have magic." And this was one of my more favorite moments of the episode, where Hemmer gets to really show off his thing. He's like, "I'm a wizard and stuff, and I got magic, and I'm going to do things." And Pollux is like, "That's not a real thing. You can't do all these things." And he does his different moves here.
That was good. That was fun.
Abracadabra. Really enjoyed that. Beams him out. And then he looks out to the nebula. He goes to his quarters and finds his daughter. And this is where the emotion really starts to come into the episode, because we can see that she's been communicating with this nebula. He scans her with the tricorder, figures out that her, what's it called, cytokemia. Cytokemia has been cured. And Mega's like the coolest cat in the world too. As like a character in this cast, like he never really even when he plays emotion, he's very restrained. He's very restrained, I would say. But he's not like a Vulcan or anything. He emotes, but very subtly. Hemmer kind of volunteers to be like the voice of the nebula here. And he tells the nebula to be gentle. I didn't get the impression it was fully gentle. Anyway, he has a conversation. A bit of a headache was kind of the result here. And he's like, well, if we the nebula, which has kind of got this woman's voice coming through Hemmer, so it's kind of Hemmer's voice and it's kind of this nebula voice. But if I leave, then the disease will return and she'll die. She can come with me. And I think ultimately, Mbenga leaves it up to her, right? She gets to make the decision for what she wants to do. Just to go with him. But there's kind of a real tearful goodbye here. I thought was very powerful. And then,
yes, because he keeps like he's just touching her arms constantly because he knows it's the last time he's ever going to touch her. And it's like heartbreaking, man.
Yeah, especially as this little kid.
He acts the shit out of it. He acts the shit out of it.
Oh, for sure.
Damn,
oh, yeah. the entity, the nebula, whatever, then kind of swirls around her, and she's like, it tickles. So it's, I guess, not a painful process. Turns her into light, and then she goes out the window. And there's kind of this moment where he's like, she's gone, right? And
I'm probably gonna run upstairs and hug my daughter when we're done here.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah. He doesn't know what to do. She's gone, and then a moment later, she comes back, but fully grown now, as this adult.
With her buddy Deb.
Her buddy Deborah, the entity Deborah, who we find out was her mother, I guess his, late wife. So we're not sure. We don't really have the full story, but she's, he says she looks just like her. And this was really emotional too, because we saw that he's like, well, she's like, all this time for minutes or seconds for you were years for me. So I have a feeling
for him as well. He missed 10, 15 years of his daughter's life. It's horrible.
Yeah, he was still processing all this, and then this happens, right?
That's shock. This was shocking. Like, her coming back was pretty shocking.
Ezra Miller's not on this show, Jeff. No,
I feel like there's something there I'm not getting.
I think he thought Ethan Peck, maybe. I don't know. This I'm not sure who he thought looked like Ezra Miller, but then it gets even like there's tears here. Who plays Mbenga? What's this guy? Because we haven't.
Mbenga is a word for Goliath tigerfish.
Oh yeah, Babs Olusumokin. I'm probably not saying that right. Babs. Anyway, he's great. Babs. He's great in this episode. This was a great episode to give him, and I think again, Mbenga was a character from the original series, another Doctor we saw on the Enterprise, so we know that he'll be on the Enterprise 10 years from now. But that's really all we know about him in terms of like his personal life, like or anything really about him. So it's this is some really strong, interesting detail. And the goodbye here, and then she kind of warps away, and then everything's back. And what I thought was interesting is that even Hemmer didn't have a memory of this. I thought that was an interesting choice because he was kind of along for the ride. I thought that teaming up Hemmer and Mbenga in this episode was kind of interesting, and they kind of washed it all away in some ways, at least from Hemmer's point of view. But they kind of keep going. Back in sick bay, he's like, yeah, everyone just thinks they were out for 5 hours and there's no other record of it. It just shows as kind of nothing in the official logs. He finishes the story. And then Una shows up and they have a conversation about it. And she's like, he basically says he's going to file the report to kind of explain what happened, right? And then his daughter's okay now. And that's kind of the end of the story. That's the end, guys. In terms of a plot, yes, the green dude. I think you mean Ethan Peck, Jeff. That's Spock. But yes. So, guys, the Elysian Kingdom. Maybe we could get. I don't know if we have much in terms of fun facts because it's just aired. But let's get into some ratings and break this down. So Adam, I didn't get your rating for episode 6. If you wanted to, do you remember that one?
What was episode 6? I watched it. I know I did.
That was the one with Pike and the planet where there was like the first servant, with the kid.
Yes. Oh yeah. That was all right. That was a good 8.
It was a good 8 out of 10 for Adam. And so for tonight's episode, I'm going 8 out of 10. I thought this was good. Kevin's not with us, nor is Jody tonight. Davan, what would you give this one?
8. Yeah, I agree. I liked it as good as the kid one. They were similar in the sense that they were kind of not the strongest start to the episodes, and they ended strong.
Right. Yeah. That they do have that in common. And Adam, what was your rating out of 10?
On this week's?
Yes.
Yes. Elysian Kingdom.
7.
7 out of 10.
I don't like having to feel like it's going to be a crappy episode and then wait for the good stuff to start.
Yeah. No, you start it strong.
No, I don't think it started strong. That's my point. I was like, as soon as he got off that turbo lift in that that costume, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. I hear you. I feel it. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It took a while to get going in terms of it. Like it's hard hitting stuff, but they had some fun too. So it was kind of like this weird mix of comedy and drama. Who as you mentioned different combinations. So they have a bunch of writers and they have teamed them up in different ways throughout these different episodes. Every episode's had a different director, I think, so far. So that's been also interesting to see how they've been playing that out. And then I don't know if they've announced the name of the next episode or not yet, but I'm going to have a quick look here.
No
guys.
Frakes in that director list. Where's Frakes?
I think where's Frakes? He directs everything. Guys, this is down to a 6. I checked. This was at 6.8 this morning. It's down to a 6.4 on IMDb.
People aren't ready for this sort of thing.
Yeah,
and this is like Kevin or like Adam said there. It's probably too early for a lot of people.
I can only imagine if Jody was here tonight, what he would be saying.
Well, I think he'd give it a 5.
I think you're probably right. I don't think he would give this a very high rating.
I think Jody would give this an 11.
Well, we'll find out when we catch up with Jody.
He would have nothing harsh to say about the fantastical characters or the ending.
Strange New World. I'm just having a quick look. The next episode, guys, is called All Those Who Wander.
We're gonna have a Wesley Crusher cameo.
Do you think it's about the travelers?
The travelers? No. I hope not.
Me too. All those that wander. Now, as far as I understand, there's only going to be 10 episodes this season, so we only get two. There's only 2 more to come. Yeah, I thought it was 13.
My whole night. Me too.
So we've got 2 really good ones going to come here. I know it.
I would imagine they're going to finish strong here. And I don't think that this was.
That episode doesn't seem so abrupt now that I know there's only 10 in the season. Like if you'd have thrown this episode into like episode 20 of the first season of TNG, it wouldn't have seemed too soon, probably.
No, but because the seasons move so much faster, it's definitely a bit more jarring. Okay, well here we're going to take this down, guys. Any final thoughts on the Elysian Kingdom or this? How's the season going for you guys so far?
Love it. Best
Dave,
a long time.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is so good, and you after spending so much time on Discovery and Picard, I can't even tell you how good this is, and I thought those were good. So
yeah, and for me, I think Discovery and Picard, I would say Picard works for me less than Discovery does.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, I think Discovery, at least they're on a ship and they're in Starfleet and they're doing missions and whatever, versus Picard, which is just like this kind of weird mishmash of characters that I can't quite get my head around. And it's a lot of like them trying to jam too many ideas into one thing. But with this is classic Trek. This Strange New World is classic Trek. It's they're taking a lot of things from Next Generation, even like having these different character focused episodes, because if they were doing this in like the style of original series, it would just be the Pike show. And maybe we get a little bit of Spock here and there.
But tonight's episode was a lot like first original series. There was a lot of I felt more than Next Gen.
Yeah, like I think Masks is the episode this really reminded me of more than anything. But
really, yeah, I love Masks. I would have given Masks.
You know why Masks is terrible? Because a 4-year-old would have figured out that whole mask analogy like 10 seconds into that episode, and they're like, "Oh my god, night and day.
Where are the sun and the moon? Who will ever put this together?" Not Picard.
God, it's just like I don't know. I just want to bang my head off the wall that whole episode. It's probably my least favorite TNG episode.
I thought that Brent Spiner
other than Code of Honor, of course.
Or The Perfect Mate, which I also don't like. Actually, I love Masks, and we will do a radio theater, and you don't have to cover that one, Davan. It's okay. But,
no, I'll play Data.
Oh, so cold. Can you maybe near the fire? Yeah. All right. Well,
no, I'll stay home.
Yeah, we'll wrap up for tonight. By the way, speaking of Star Trek Radio Theater, the Darmok, which we recorded back in April, with Adam as Dathan and Davan as Captain Picard. That is almost done. I know I'm really late on the edit on that, guys, but I think you're really going to enjoy the final edit. I should have that out tomorrow.
That was a good one.
It was a good one, and the final mix is coming in. It's just been taking me forever I've been chipping away at it bit by bit. So Star Trek Radio Theater, and then we will plan out our next edition of Star Trek Radio Theater as soon as I can have that one in the rearview mirror. And then also check out our other podcasts here on Live Long and Podcast, including Monday nights, Star Trek Enterprise Rewatch, sometimes with Adam Woodward. He's been away for, I feel like, a while.
Yeah, I'm back in town starting next Monday, so we're good.
Adam, I think it's, well, just you were, because I missed you were on when I wasn't on too, so there's a bit of that too. But we just watched Dead Stop this past Monday, and next Monday it's be a Night in Sick Bay is the episode we're covering, season 2, episode 5. Every Wednesday night right now. It used to be Tuesdays, now it's Wednesdays. Star Trek Deep Space Nine at 9ish with Jeff Mader. We are now into the thick of season 5, guys. We've come back most recently. We took a couple months off there as well. We did Dr. Bashir, I presume, last night. And next week, it's A Simple Investigation. So check out our recaps and reviews.
Deep Space Nine is great. It's good to be back. Watching Deep Space Nine again because you guys are back on the show. And
Kevin commented about how the Deep Space 9 makes him real. Oh, we lost Adam. Makes him realize that how much he likes or how much he dislikes the Enterprise characters in comparison to the Deep Space 9 cast and characters. You know, he's like they're just not as strong.
The best cast ever,
and the best writers ever, I think, in a lot of ways. So it's like, you know, it's hard to kind of live up to that. Oh, there's Adam. Hey, he's back. Also, check out our other podcasts. Oh, check out Davan's podcast. He's got Locutors of Trek, his Star Trek theme channel. What you got going on? Trivia? You got some writers' rooms? You got some
We've been on a bit of a hiatus, but we'll have to get Adam in here on a probe here soon, a Class L probe. And we also have eventually an episode of a regular podcast episode on the comedy of Star Trek. And then, I don't know, maybe get Dave over here for a Geek Tall challenge or something.
Which Dave?
You.
Oh, me. I'll come back for the Geek Tall challenge.
You're the champion.
I love my Klingon stuff. You know.
I'm just waiting for my Batleth.
Right.
I do not like doctors. Any doctors.
That's from last night.
I'll be waiting.
That's more fitting. Yeah, that's me. I'll be waiting for the Geek Tall challenge.
But yeah, not a lot going on over there. More going on the X-Men.
What's going on in X-Men, the animated series, X-rated?
Well, we just finished season 2. We're taking a week off, and this coming Tuesday we'll be back for season 3, episode 1, Out of the Past, part 1, and then drop an exclusive here on your show. Nobody knows this yet. After that, we will be having an interview with the voice of Rogue, Lenore Zan.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
former Canadian member of Parliament.
Indeed, her private member's bill just went to second reading, and on environmental racism. And I hope,
or is she still a member of Parliament?
Nope.
No, she's no longer in there.
You got villains to fight, Sugar.
Sugar. Oh well, I will definitely be checking that one out. And the one that into the Out of the Past, is that the one where Bishop comes in, or is that?
No, that's this is a Lady Deathstrike episode. Wolverine's Past.
Oh, with Alpha Flight.
No, more like his time in Japan. But
Japanese.
Lady Deathstrike does debut in an Alpha Flight comic.
There you go. All right. Well, check out Davan's podcast, X-rated, as well as my son, Amy Mader. He's got Let's Talk About Fighting Games that he does with his buddies on video games, and which are fighting exclusive, as well as Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn. They got the Hellbound podcast as well. And check out our other channels, including Super Mader Brothers podcasting I do with my brother Jeff. We got Big Brother USA season 24 starting in just about 2 weeks. We'll be doing a cast preview for that. That will be going on for 3 months. We're covering that with Jaemeel Robinson and Jeff as well. We just wrapped up Survivor season 42, as well as Big Brother Canada 10. And then Trivial Debates. I'm looking for some contestants, guys, for a June episode.
When did Survivor at what point did Survivor become older than you?
When they did 2 a year. So like if I had 2 birthdays a year, I would catch up with Survivor. So
when is trailer debates this Sunday?
I haven't set it up yet. No, so maybe we could even do it next
my.
Sunday. Yeah, whenever. Yeah, honestly, I've been focused so much on that radio theater edit. I haven't had enough time to pull. I need to hire a scheduling producer. Maybe I should get my son to do that. That would be a good gig for him. So help me coordinate these dates. So, but yes,
I'll be all for that.
I would set it up right now if you guys want to do it.
I haven't been for a while. I'd like to come back.
Davin, could I talk you into a Sunday edition of Trivial Debates?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay,
I think I'm good for Sunday.
All right.
Wait, what time?
Whatever time works. I need you to
we'll
make
figure it out.
Yeah. So,
Davin, I'm good for earlier than later. If you want to go a little earlier,
I can go earlier is better for me on a Sunday.
Trivial Debate on Sunday. Earlier is better. And who should host? Oh, we'll figure that out. Okay, we'll figure out who's in and then who's doing it. But thank you guys. That would be great to get. I need to get back on that horse with Trivial Debates. So check that out Sunday morning. It sounds like we'll be doing our next edition. All right. And until then, we will check you guys next time here on Live Long and Podcast, Strange New Worlds Recap Podcast, and maybe we can get out of here with some magic called science. Thank you, Davin. Thank you, Adam. And we will see you next time.
Maybe I can get us out of here with the help of some powerful magic called science.